Our next guest is James Leonard.
James, how are you?
Hiya, Tommy. How are you? Before you opened.
I don't know you.
No.
What's your... what do you do?
My name is James Leonard, and I'm from Cork City. And my story is I used to be a heroin addict, and I used to be in and out of prison for short sentences relating to it. And I'm not doing too bad today, and somebody thought it'd be a bit of crack if I come on that word with you.
Wow. You look great.
Thank you, Tommy. You look not too bad yourself, and I'm a big fan for a long time.
Thank you.
So it's an honour to be here.
You look healthy.
I feel it. I feel it, yeah. I wasn't always like that, though.
Yeah.
You know, what I have today I strived for, and I thought it was unattainable for me. And it was a fantasy that I thought I'd never accomplish, or I'd never, you know... What I have today, Tommy, is a normal life, you know, and that's what I craved. I didn't think I could get it. You know, I was in such a bad place. I suppose with the help of some good people, you know, and a bit of encouragement, I was able to drag myself out of the gutter, and I hope you enjoy the story.
When you say a normal life, did you have that growing up?
My childhood wouldn't be normal. When I think of normal, I think of my normal today, work, family, job, you know. My childhood, you know, I got plenty of love and attention, you know. I never went hungry in my life. I always had clothes on my back. My mother and father didn't get along. My father would have been in and out of the home, and I would have longed for him to be there more, you know. And I was really attached to him. And I suppose when I was younger, I was involved in sports. I enjoyed primary school. Then I went to a different secondary school, a Christian Brothers school, all boys, hated it. You know, coming into puberty, you know, my dad got 7 years in prison that time, and really devastating for us, for me. And I suppose I come into my teenage years kind of angry, upset, hurt, and I started experimenting with drugs. And I suppose when I started experimenting, you know, the anger, the hurt, the insecurity, the low self-esteem and confidence was relieved. Was
it an unusual thing in the area that you grew up for your dad to be in prison?
No, it's very common. I'm from, as I said, I'm originally from Dublin. My father's from Dublin. We moved to Cork, to Knocknaheeny when I was a baby.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Knocknaheeny, Hollyhill area of north side of Cork City. Probably the most deprived area in Cork would be on a level with, say, Moyross and Ballymun, that type of deprivation, you know?
Yeah.
In our area, me and my peers, we would have looked up to the joyriders, the drug users.
Yeah.
That was, you know, the thought of going to university. You could walk to UCC in about 15 minutes from my house. It may as well have been a million miles away. Yeah. It was never on our radar. We were never exposed to it. And I suppose being from an area like that, there's a stigma attached to it, you know. The media portrayal of it. You're going away out the country playing GA, you're being called scumbag, knacker, you know.
And you've a sense, do you have a sense, coming from Knocknaheeny, that nobody else in the city is going to give you a fair chance because of that?
Definitely. It's because you're from that area. You're meant to be tough, you're meant to be, you know, criminal, you're meant to be a drug user, you're meant to be poor. That was it. And, you know, when we were younger, we started living up to it then. You know, we were like, do you know what, fuck the rest of you.
Yeah.
And joyriding, you know, antisocial behaviour, very risky behaviours. You know, we never felt a part of the mainstream, you know. And I suppose a lot of us would have been hurt, you know, would have been in single-parent families, mental health issues, drug addiction in the home, a lot of poverty.
Can I ask you, though, the time of that wildness, like, was it also a bit of crack?
It was for me. It was. And it was a relief from the hardship of life, I suppose.
Yeah.
And we found comfort in each other. And, you know, when you're a teenager, there's no such thing as a consequence, do you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We're driving through fields in the pitch black in a car with the lights off, just for the crack, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
No consequences.
Ghost driving.
Exactly. You know, into a ditch, flip over, walk home. That was it, full of muck. You know?
I do it sometimes with the kids. I know, but not for long. Like, and my wife, stop it. So that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a bonding.
Oh, totally. Like, and it was a bit of crack, but the crack ended soon enough, because I suppose I started going in and out of prison for small sentences then, 8 months, 6 months type of thing, and was introduced
for what?
for being in a stolen car and for antisocial behaviour, stuff like that. So I often woke up in a Garda station or even in Cork prison, no idea how I got there. Get a visit. This is what you were after doing. The devastation it was causing to my family, the hurt. But I just didn't care at the time. I was just.
So those feelings of shame.
Yeah. I felt I was brought up better than what I was doing.
So you felt those in the moment when you were young. It's not looking back. You feel them. It's
no, like say for example, I'm 19 years of age and done 8 months in prison because I was in a rap car with my friend, right? I know that that's not the right thing to do, My mum was coming up to visit me, she's crying.
Yeah.
My dad is trying to remonstrate with me, sort yourself out, don't go down the same road I went, this type of thing, But I kind of disregarded what they said.
Yeah.
I did feel the guilt. I did feel the guilt. I was gone from the family home at that stage, so it didn't really... What they were saying, I didn't really have to listen to it all that often.
Yeah.
And I suppose going in and out of prison when I was about 21, I was introduced to heroin in prison. And as I said, I'm half a dub, so I had an idea what heroin was because of the devastation in Dublin. But unlike Dublin, Cork hadn't really got that level of heroin use. Around 2005, 2006, it started coming in. And I was afraid of it because my idea of heroin use was injecting street drug use, all that. But this guy was like, we were smoking it on tinfoil, and I this is grand, there's no needles and that, and this is the safe way to do it. I thought I could do it, and I did for a few years, just smoked it.
Yeah.
And I suppose throughout the heroin use, the crack left me. There was no more crack, there was no more bonding, very isolating. Theft was the type of crimes, just desperate things to try and get the money to get the drugs. And what I was doing didn't sit with me. And I tried recovery a few times, got to treatment centres, but I could never imagine myself without using a substance, very easy to go back to what was familiar to me, even though it was so rough. But it was my identity, that was where my peers were, that was where I was kind of comfortable in the madness.
And do you look rough at this stage?
Shocking. Yeah, like I present today, Tommy, you wouldn't know.
No.
But back then I would have been 9, 10 stone, sore arms, very gaunt, kind of yellowish in the skin. Just Adam and Paul.
Yeah.
That was funny when I watched it, when I wasn't an addict. But when I watched it, when I was in recovery, it was like, I could fucking feel for them young fellas. Yeah. There's nothing glamorous about it. Every day is a struggle. Yeah. And you feel like shit, you're treated like shit. Yeah. Society looks at heroin addicts as the worst in society. There's no empathy given.
How long did that go on for?
10 years. When I was about 27, in 2013, I'm 34 today. In 2012, around Christmas time, I was using intravenously, frequently, real kind of escalation in the use, and I would have been frequently overdosing at this stage. There's a fine line between getting stoned and overdosing, And I had one particularly bad overdose. I was down, it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I was langers drunk, as we say in Cork, or langerated. I was langerated, and I was after getting two bags of heroin off an acquaintance, let's say. About 1 in the morning, went down the steps between Sundayswell and Blarney Street, suddenly small, secluded alley. You don't get many people walking there midweek, 1 in the morning, Injected the 2 bags of drugs, knowing that this could be potentially fatal, or else I'm going to get completely out of my head. At this stage, I didn't care. I'd have picked either one. Overdosed anyway, straight away. Next I woke up, 2 paramedics, 2 guardies standing over me. I was after getting naloxone, it's like an antidote for opiate overdose. I got up and walked home, and walking through my neighbourhood, Knocknaheeny, about 2 days later, 2 guards pulls in, stop and search, standard enough. And they were the 2 guards that was there a few nights ago, you know, and they were saying to me, James, we know you a long time, and but this is a new law for you, you know. You're haunted that somebody walked past that night because you would have been found dead. And I suppose that resonated with me, you know. I really felt like that I wanted to do something with myself, you know. I felt I had potential. I think I got to that stage where I was very close to death, and I was very isolated at the time. I was homeless, you know. I was sleeping in sheds, I was sleeping rough. I made a phone call, and I rang Merchants Key Ireland. They're a big charity in Dublin. They says, we can get you into a treatment centre, but you need to be free from heroin. I said, it's not going to happen because the nature of my lifestyle. They said, look, if you go on methadone, which I was hesitant to for a long time because my friends was on it and they were fucked on heroin and methadone, and I didn't want that. But I did go on methadone, and I stabilised on heroin. Eventually gave enough clean urines to get into a detox in St. Francis Farm, which is in Tullow, County Carlow. And in June 2013, I went up there, detox from benzodiazepines and methadone for 8 weeks. Done 16 weeks therapeutic work. Rather work on myself, you know. I suppose I come out of there kind of with a new frame of mind. And what I wanted, what I longed for was the normal life, the job, the education, the stable relationship, stable accommodation, a car. They helped me believe that these were very attainable goals for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I come out of there and I was thinking, you know what, why can't I have that? You know, why don't I deserve that? And I come out, I was homeless still, burnt all my bridges with my family, rang Simon Community in Cork. They just opened a sober house around that time. There was 1 bed left, got that bed. Started doing a CE scheme, cleaning, first job in years, and enjoyed it in the fact that it gave me some structure to my life for the first time, you know. I had a purpose to get up, to go to work, do my 4 hours cleaning.
Yeah.
And they just treat me with dignity and respect. And I was at a crossroads in my life where I felt like here's a healthier version of James. I have a new mentality now, not quite sure what I want to do. And met a woman, and we went on
That's when the trouble started.
You could say that, but I met a woman and we went on a date, and at the time I was doing community service and I was a C scheme cleaning, and she was after being through university and she was working, and I like, she's not going to want a second date here, you know. But you know what, she seen the potential in me and she seen the nature in me, and she nurtured it and she encouraged me to, you know what, try college. And I went to the College of Commerce in Cork. It's 1 year. No, I done a basic computer course first because I know I needed to learn how to use a computer to do anything. Then I done a 1 year course in the College of Commerce on psychology and social studies. Loved it, you know. Then I applied for UCC. You know, I wanted to get a job where I could work with people similar stories with me. So I done a 3-year bachelor's degree in youth and community work. And at the end of that, I got an award of Excellent Scholar. And then I got the scholarship to study a master's in criminology. And I'll be graduating my first class honours next month.
I think what's one of the things that's difficult listening to you is that you come across as very gentle, and there's great humility and softness in you, and it's just heartbreaking, I think, to imagine you as that gaunt, a young fella, kind of despised by the city he's in because he's on heroin, and underneath that mask of disgrace is a wonderful human being, and it would make you think about all the young fellas and young ones we see around the city.
Yeah.
And kind of going, you know, there's there's beauty in them as well, like, do you know?
Yeah. I spent the last year and a half working in Cork Simon community. And I know you have a connection there as well.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you my connection. I applied for a job with Cork Simon community, and they didn't give it to me. They said I was too depressed to work with the homeless.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
But so you're working with Simon?
I worked there for the last year and a half, and like that now, addicts, most of them, you know, and ostracised by society, you know, but they're somebody's children. Some of them have children of their own, and very lovely people. I suppose there's people out there suffering, Tommy. There's families suffering, you know, and I thought this would be a good platform for me to, I don't know, maybe give some of them a bit of hope, and as long as you're alive, you can always turn it around, you know. I suppose you can gauge the turnaround for me in a way where a few years ago I would have been in prison, right?
Yeah.
But now I train prison officers with the Irish Prison Service. You know, they have a big recruitment on at the moment, and to be trusted to do that, you know.
Yeah.
And I started a new job last week in trying to bring education and training to the most marginalised young people in Cork, you know. And as I said to you at the start, or a while ago, I met some great people along the way, you know.
Yeah.
Cork Simon helped me, Cork Alliance Centre, you know, a charity for prisoners, managers, team leaders, key workers, you know, they all gave me encouragement, knowledge, they opened doors for me.
I suppose the thing to take away is that what happens to you isn't inevitable. So if someone is in that situation, it's not a definite that you can't turn your life around, and as you said, as long as you're breathing, you have hope.
Yeah.
And
yeah, there's nothing more important than keep yourself alive, and that's the truth. As long as you're alive, you can do what you want. You can, if your life is shit, if you're not happy with how things is going, you can change it. You might be able to do it yourself. Pick up the phone, ask somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. But when you're dead, that's it. And that's why we need stuff like supervised injection facilities, you know, keep people alive.
that's it.
Like, imagine, you know, I wasn't found by that person 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'd be dead. There'd be no James, there'd be no marriage, there'd be no masters and scholarships, and all the potential would have been gone with me. And all what's to come. I feel like I'm 34, I'm only out of college, I feel I have the world at my feet, and what's going to come in the next 35 years would have been all gone.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
For sharing your story. Ladies and gentlemen, James Leonard.
Good on,